name is Oscar Katona. I'm 20 years old, running a business and building a personal brand, but none of this was obvious to me for most of my life. Nothing in school interested me. I liked some things, but never felt a real affinity towards a subject like how some people know that they want to be a doctor or a lawyer. I wasn't any good at sport, had no chance of being a musician, and science and I simply didn't agree with each other. I still remember trying to put together a Rube Goldberg machine in one of the science labs, which is up there with one of the most frustrating activities I've ever done in anything. I knew I was never going to be any of those things, but I also knew that I didn't want to spend and waste years of my life floating around doing nothing. This was a big fear of mine, but the problem that I was faced with was I had no idea what I did want to do. So all of a sudden I was in a self-imposed race against the clock to find some sort of purpose before I left high school. In my final year of high school, there was an idea that ran rings around my head. What if I started a business? I'd seen the Instagram highlight reels of fast cars, big houses, and worldwide travel, and I couldn't help but dream a little bit. Under all the superficial junk that we see on social media, I couldn't help but ask myself, is it actually possible? Instead of intimidating me, these highlight reel videos lit a fire inside me, which to this day hasn't yet been extinguished. Could I make millions doing things my way? All of a sudden that became my way forward. The thought stuck with me, and the only way that I was going to figure out if it was possible was if I tried. If it failed, then so be it. My backup plan was uni, which is what I was working hard to get into for the entirety of year 12. But once I finished my year 12 exams, it was time to hit the drawing board and see if I could come up with a few ideas that had legs. And that's what I spent that summer doing, brainstorming ideas. Becoming a streamer crossed my mind first, believe it or not. It was something that I'd already experimented with when I was a bit younger and addicted to playing NBA 2K, but it didn't quite fit with the lifestyle that I wanted because I didn't want to spend my days sitting inside playing video games. I also thought of a history-themed YouTube channel, which I actually thought might work, but I believed that was something that might be difficult to scale. However, this led to me coming up with a framework for ideas that might actually have some legs and potential to go somewhere. The first question that I asked myself was, what am I already good at, or what can I teach myself to be good at in a short period of time? The second question was, what do I actually enjoy doing with my time, or what is something that I might be able to teach myself to enjoy doing later down the track? And finally, will this be a venture that I can scale into the future, or is it something that sort of ends with me? Looking back, I thought I was taking it pretty seriously at the time, but in hindsight, I probably wasn't giving it 100% effort until my best mate told me that he was thinking of doing the same thing. And in that moment, as we were walking to the gym for an early morning workout, the decision became final in my mind. In 2024, I was going to start a business. He said to me, Oscar, I'm thinking of starting a business. What do you think? And I looked at him and I said, mate, I'm thinking of doing the exact same thing. This was back in February 2024. We both felt very excited about what the year had in store for us. And this is when I used my newly found framework to do a much more serious brainstorm about some business ideas. And eventually I landed on social media, content creation, and management. It took me a few months to properly take the leap and actually start the business, which I didn't end up doing until August of that year. But there was one more moment that reinforced in my mind that what I was doing was a good idea. I worked an office job in the Melbourne CBD for about a week and a half, which was work experience with a friend of my dad's, and I hated it. Not so much the work itself, which I knew was going to get a little bit more interesting and better as time went by and I spent longer in the company, but it was more so the feeling of working in an office that I really disliked. It just wasn't how I wanted to work in any real way, shape or form. I was beholden to someone else, surrounded by petty office politics, and I knew within a week that it wasn't for me. The people were nice enough, but every conversation felt forced, inauthentic, and like it was just something that was to pass the time. I better get this business going, I thought to myself, because there's no chance I'm going to be working a job like this for the rest of my life. When I hopped onto the train to actually go into the city from my house, everyone around me had their heads down looking at their phones, and walking from Flinders Street Station to the office in the city, everyone had headphones on, completely oblivious to whatever was going on around them. Zombies everywhere. I couldn't do it. It honestly felt like a scene from The Matrix. I wanted something more, And the following month, I had my first client. Now my days are much more exciting. I talk with who I want to talk with. Every conversation has a purpose and a meaning, and I could spend my morning working with Mercedes cars, spend my afternoon talking property with real estate agents, and then spend my evening taking photos and videos of food, cocktails and wine. Much more up my alley. I saw some early success inside 9 months of starting the business, but there were challenges too. There was a bit of imposter syndrome early on, a fear of charging people money because of that imposter syndrome, and then obviously the high of seeing your first few invoices hit the account. It was a bit of a roller coaster. During this time, another idea hit me. I'm going to share my experiences online like I'm doing right now. I was learning plenty every single day from running my business, and I knew that there were other people out there that were in the same shoes as me, fiending for something different as well. My best friend was a walking, talking example of that. One thing I wasn't going to do was pretend that I had it all figured out or pretend to be someone that I'm not. I keep it real and I tell it how I see it. And now, 2 Decembers after graduating high school, here I am making content and running a business. This is what I wanted, not to sit in an office for 40 hours a week with people I didn't like, but to run life on my terms with the people that I want and to make some money in the process. So why am I really doing this? Before I get into that, if you're enjoying this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe so that you can keep up with all my other videos. You won't want to miss 2026. One of my friends' mum said to me that she was proud of me and my message and that she thought it would help a lot of people. To be honest with you, it felt unreal hearing that, and that's when I knew that I was doing something right and that I was on the right path. I want to inspire people to chase their dreams. I was never a top tier student in high school or a natural brain, but I did work hard, and if I can run a business, anyone can. You just need the drive and purpose to do it. Business is a game of survival. You don't need to make big plays every single day. You just need to keep your head above water for long enough to seize opportunities when they arrive. When you stick a purpose in front of someone, more often than not, they'll be able to push through those hard times and keep their head above that water. My first video on this channel was about finding your purpose, and that's exactly why it was first, because to me, it is the single most important step when it comes to self-improvement and business and just life. And with the rest of my videos across social media and YouTube, what I'm really aiming to do is set light bulbs off in anyone that watches his head so that they can find their purpose and push through the hard times as they conduct their quest for a better life. You can see me making it happen, so my question to you is, what do you have to do to make it happen for you? Part of my logic for starting a business was that I was young, 19 at the time to be exact, and I had my entire 20s ahead of me. These are the building blocks for the rest of my life, the foundation. It's 11 years of me figuring out what I like, what I don't like, what pisses me off, what I'm good at, what I'm not so good at. And already within 2 years, I've learnt so much. But this can only come with experience, which is another thing that I hope to inspire in people. You learn from experience, which is why I believe that young people need to spend their entire 20s going out and getting as much experience as they possibly can. Gary Vee is someone who bangs on about that all the time. We have nothing to lose at this age, only knowledge to gain. You can fail every single year for 10 years, and by the age of 30, you've still got enough time to turn it around and build a successful life for yourself. That is what I think to be a superpower and something that we should all be taking advantage of. That doesn't always look like starting a business. It can be cycling through different careers until you find something that sticks, or moving to different cities until you find one that you vibe with. Every 50-year-old you ever meet will tell you how they wish they could be your age again so that they can do exactly that. Try more things and have more experiences. So don't waste the time. I'm certainly not wasting mine. Throughout 2026, I'll be posting 3 times a month on my YouTube channel and every single day over on Instagram, documenting every step of the journey as I go from a purposeless high schooler to a successful businessman and entrepreneur. I'm ambitious, I'm gonna make it happen, but I don't believe in gatekeeping, and I want to show young people all around the world that they can do it as well. So subscribe to my YouTube channel today, follow me on Instagram, and go and chase your dreams.